Maya Rivera didn't believe in complicated men, not anymore. Working double shifts at the renowned Skyline Lounge had taught her that the richer the customer, the bigger the disaster waiting behind their smiles. So when the city's youngest billionaire, Adrian Voss, started visiting her section night after night, she ignored the way her stomach tightened at the sight of him. He wasn't like the other wealthy men who used charm like a currency. Adrian was quiet, unreadable, strikingly composed. He watched the world with the sharpness of someone who'd had to build himself up from fire. His jaw was always tense, his shirts always perfectly pressed, his watch always glinting with cold silver. And he always sat at the same tabletop floor, corner booth, overlooking the entire glittering skyline he practically owned. Maya didn't know why he chose her as his waitress. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe she was simply assigned to the VIP section too often. Or maybe, though she'd never say it out loud, maybe he watched her the way she tried not to watch him. He always ordered the same thing: still water, room temperature, salmon, no sauce, and a quiet space, which the staff wordlessly provided. She placed the water in front of him and forced herself to remain professional. "Good evening, Mr. Voss." His eyes lifted from the ledger in his hands. "Maya." The way he said her name, slow, deliberate, as if he were tasting it, made her chest tighten. "You're staying late again?" she asked, trying to keep her tone neutral. "I could ask you the same," he murmured. She hesitated, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "Some of us don't have billion-dollar companies to run. We have bills, rent, broken appliances." She stopped herself. "Never mind, enjoy your dinner." She turned to walk away, but his voice was soft and startling behind her. "What broke?" she blinked. "Excuse me?" "You mentioned something about a broken appliance. What was it?" "It doesn't matter," she said quickly. "It's just life." "Life," he repeated thoughtfully, as if unfamiliar with the concept. She attempted a smile. "Some things can't be fixed with money." He looked at her like he wanted to debate that. Before he could, a loud crash came from the back of the lounge. One of the new hires had dropped a tray of glassware. Maya flinched at the sound. Adrian's eyes followed the noise, but his attention returned to her almost immediately. "You've been tense all evening," he said quietly. "Did something happen?" "Nothing I can't handle." "Maya." His tone deepened. When someone says that, there's always something. Her breath caught. She didn't want him reading her, not when she barely allowed herself to read him. "I appreciate the concern," she said, stepping back. "But you're a customer. I'm a waitress. Let's stay in our lanes." She didn't wait for his reply. She turned and walked away. But she didn't get far. She was carrying a tray toward another table when she felt his presence again, the unsettling magnetic weight of him. He hadn't left his booth, but his gaze followed her across the room. Every time she turned, his eyes were there, sharp and too observant. She tried to ignore it, until he became impossible to ignore. Near closing time, Maya stepped onto the balcony to breathe. The night air was cool, lifting the stress off her shoulders for the briefest moment. She leaned over the railing, watching the city lights flicker under the velvet sky. She didn't hear him approach. She only felt a shift in the air before a voice brushed her ear. "You shouldn't be out here alone." She spun around and gasped. Adrian stood inches away, his hands in his pockets, his expression unreadable. The glow of the city lit the edges of his face, making him look like every forbidden thought she'd tried to bury. How long have you been standing there? She demanded. Long enough. His gaze held hers. You walked away from me earlier. I had work to do. That's not why. His voice softened, but the tension in it made her pulse throb. I'm not here to play mind games, she said. This is my job. You're a customer. I don't need complications. He took one slow step toward her. You think I'm trying to complicate your life? You coming out here says it all, she whispered. His jaw flexed. I didn't follow you. I came to ask a question. What could you possibly need to ask me? He exhaled, long and low. Why does it bother you that I look at you? Her breath froze. He didn't touch her, didn't even reach for her. But the way he stood controlled, intense, focused entirely on her, was its own kind of touch. She shook her head. I need to go. I'm not doing this. She turned to leave, but before she could take a full step, a hand slid around her waist. She froze. His fingers were gentle but firm, holding her, not pulling, not trapping, just stopping her. Maya, he murmured, his breath grazing the back of her neck. Don't walk away from me again. Her heartbeat thundered. You can't just grab me, she whispered, breath unsteady. His grip loosened immediately, but he didn't remove his hand. Then tell me to let go. She didn't, she couldn't. Because the truth, dangerously, terrifyingly real, was that she didn't want him to. The wind swept between them, carrying the quiet thrum of the city. Adrian's voice dropped, deep and raw. I don't chase people. He leaned closer. I don't reach for anyone. Her stomach turned into fire. But I reached for you. Her eyes fluttered shut for half a second. Why? She whispered. His thumb brushed her waist just once. Because you make me forget I'm supposed to feel nothing. She swallowed hard. Adrian, this is insane. You're you. I'm just a waitress. He leaned in until his forehead touched hers softly, carefully, as if afraid she'd break. You're not just anything. Her breath trembling, she stepped back, not to escape him, but to breathe. We can't do this, she murmured. A small, humorless smile touched his lips. Tell me you don't feel it, and I'll walk away. She opened her mouth, but no words came. He watched her struggle, the truth visible in every shaky breath she took. You shouldn't want this, she whispered. Maybe not. His voice deepened. But I do. Silence fell over them, heavy, hot, magnetic. She turned again, this time forcing her legs to move. But as she walked away, her heart raced with a truth she wasn't ready to face. She didn't want him to stop her. But if he did, she wasn't sure she'd resist. Maya clocked out early that night. Her hands were still trembling when she grabbed her bag from the staff locker room. She told herself it was the cold air on the balcony, the long shift, the stress. Anything but the truth pounding beneath her ribs. Adrian Voss had touched her, and she had let him. She pushed open the back door of the lounge, stepping into the near-empty parking lot. The sky was a shade darker than midnight, the street lamps flickering against the wet asphalt. She hugged her coat tighter around herself and walked faster. She didn't hear footsteps, but she felt eyes. When she turned, he was there, not too close, not blocking her path, but standing under the lamplight with his hands at his sides, his posture tense, his expression unreadable. Are you following me now? She asked, breath unsteady. No. His voice was calm, controlled, too controlled. I came to make sure you got to your car safely. I don't need protection. He took a slow breath. Maybe not, but I offer it anyway. The wind blew her hair across her face. She pushed it back, trying to ignore the ache in her chest, the strange mixture of anger, fear, and something she refused to name. "This is crossing a line," she said. "I know." His eyes softened, not the cold, guarded look he usually wore, but something raw. "You think I don't understand boundaries? I do. You think I take what I want because I can? I don't." "You literally pulled me back by the waist," she shot back. His jaw tightened. "Because you were walking away from me with a lie on your lips." "What lie?" "That you feel nothing." Her heart thudded painfully. "You think you know me?" she whispered. "No." He stepped closer. "I don't know anything about you, and that's exactly what drives me insane." She swallowed hard, stepping back not out of fear, but because the air between them had become too heavy to breathe. "You're a billionaire," she said. "You can have anyone. Someone with your money, your power, Maya." His voice cut through the night like velvet steel. "I don't want anyone." Her pulse stuttered. "I want the woman who doesn't flinch when I speak, who doesn't pretend to be impressed, who looks at me like I'm human, not a headline." The confession hit her harder than the wind. She shook her head. "This can't happen." "Why?" "Because you're you," she whispered, "and I'm not enough for your world." He stepped closer again, slow, deliberate, until the faint scent of his cologne curled around her. "My world has been cold for years," he murmured. "You're the first warm thing that's touched it." Her breath trembled. "And if I ruin you," she whispered, "you won't." "And if you ruin me?" His voice softened to something dangerously sincere. "I'm trying not to." For the first time, Adrian looked unsure, like a man who wanted something he wasn't supposed to reach for. Maya felt her resolve weaken, the walls she'd held for so long trembling under the weight of his honesty. "Adrian," she breathed. He reached out not to grab, not to claim, but to tuck a strand of hair gently behind her ear, his fingertips brushing her skin with heartbreaking caution. "If you walk away now," he whispered, "I won't stop you." Her eyes burned. "But if you stay..." His breath mingled with hers. "I won't pretend I don't want you." Her heart hammered against her ribs. She had spent years avoiding men like him, men who could dismantle a woman's life with a single glance. But this didn't feel like danger. It felt like standing on the edge of something she didn't know how to name. Maya stepped back, chest heaving. I need time." Adrian nodded slowly, exhaling as though the air hurt. "Then take it." She turned and walked toward her car. But just before she got in, she looked back. He was still standing there under the lamplight, rain beginning to fall around him, waiting for her. For the first time all night, she whispered the truth she had been afraid to say. "I feel it too." His eyes closed just for a second, as if that one sentence undid every wall he'd built. She slipped into her car and drove away, heart racing, breath shaking, knowing nothing in her life would ever be the same again.